Today I fucked up by vaping during a video interview. I had been preparing for this interview for weeks and was feeling confident going into it. I had my notes ready, my resume printed out, and my camera turned on. But as soon as the interview started, my nerves got the best of me. The interviewer and other members of the team were discussing matters that were not relevant to my position, and I found myself getting restless. To distract myself, I started reading through my notes. In the midst of all this, I completely forgot that my camera was still on, and out of stress, I reached for my vape and took a puff. It was only when the interviewer asked me a question and I couldn't find my vape that I realized my mistake. I had been vaping on camera the entire time. I tried to play it off, saying that it was just a habit, but the damage had been done. I could see the disappointment and disapproval on the interviewer's face. Needless to say, I did not get the job. And #X200B. Too long did not read. Vaped my way out of a job interview. Edit. A lot of comments are saying it's not a big deal to vape on 2023 when you're at home. I disagree. An interview is a chance to give a great first impression. And I was blowing smoke on a screen while they just watched me. It was embarrassing, cringy, and I deserve not to get that. Worst part is I don't even vape that often. And I'm not addicted. After I lost my last vape, I didn't vape for a few months and I only bought another one because I just happened to come across one. Anyways, I threw it away. I was on the opposite end once my job as WFH, so I was interviewing a candidate through video call. Out of habit, not a good one, admittedly. During the interview when he was responding I used my vape, immediately apologized to the interviewee, and thankfully they laughed it off. We ended up hiring the guy, and later he said, "Well, when I saw you took a hit of your vape, I figured it was a more relaxed environment, so it was kind of a good thing." WFH. Once I interviewed a guy who was sipping on beer the entire meeting. I think it was even before noon. Needless to say, the interview didn't last long and we didn't hire him. Today I fucked up by allowing both my mother's and my car to be stolen. So this actually happened this morning. A little background. I live in a normally safe suburb 20 minutes outside of DC. I didn't get out of the office until 8 p.m. last night, amounting to what was already a 50-hour workweek. I went straight to the gym afterwards. I finally get home around 10-ish and at this point I'm running on fumes. I get home, parked in the driveway, and am more thinking about work tomorrow than what's going on in the moment. I immediately shower and hop in bed. I'm awoken, still very groggy, at 5:30 a.m. by mother saying the cars are missing. Not car, but cars. I go outside and little behold they're missing. I then have that "I'm a fucking idiot" moment and realize I'd left my keys in the car. What I didn't know is that my mom likes to keep her service key in my car in the circumstance that her car fob dies. Can't tell you why. At this point I conclude the cars were jacked. I call the cops, give them the whole rundown. Things aren't looking great. My car insurance provider could consider this negligence and deny the claim for my car. At this point I'm panicking. Part of the police report procedure in the case of a car theft is recalling what was in the car. I go down the list and finally think of my AirPods. At that moment I hop on Find My iPhone and scroll through my device and see the headphones pinging in Anacostia, NA DC. Not a place you want to be in daylight, which about 45 minutes away from where I live. Thank God, we have a LED. Since I'm dealing with cops in a different jurisdiction, I have to wait for the police report to be relayed. A determined-sounding detective reaches out to me. I pass on the address that the AirPods are pinging from to her. Good news. Around 1:30 p.m. I am notified that my mother's vehicle has been found. The jackers already managed to crash the car and were seemingly getting ready to salvage it for parts. Bad news is that there is no sign of my car and my AirPods are no longer trackable. I insist to the detective that the car may still very well be around that neighborhood. Dispatched police find my car 30 minutes later tucked in an alleyway, seemingly unscathed on the exterior. I'm in disbelief that they were able to locate the vehicles. I hop in an Uber and head to the scene and recover my car. My car is littered with ash and smells like cheap blunt wraps and Cheech and Chong. I look in the backseat and find not one, not two, but 3 used rubbers. I got the cars back, but am now wondering if these thieves had an orgy in my car. Last bit of good news. I had maybe 30 miles in my tank when my car was stolen, but came back to a full tank. Too long did not read. Left both my mom's and my keys in our car, resulting in my car getting jacked. Cars were recovered in Anacostia SEDC. 1 car wrecked. The other reeks of weed and had multiple used rubbers in it. Dirty Mike and the boys sent their regards. Finally a legit today I fucked up and not, I'm 20 and had sex, tears of joy. I cannot believe the cops in DC put literally any effort into finding your cars. I live in KC and found someone selling stuff from my stolen car and I went to the police station and they said it was all circumstantial and not of it was provable and they wouldn't even send a cop with me to meet for my stolen items. I just got lucky and this crackhead folded when I told her I knew it was mine and she and her boyfriend gave up where the car was. A cop I talked to earlier that day, with the case on a silver platter, turned off his bodycam and told me I should roll up on them with all my friends and just take care of it. What a wild TIFU. This one is a gem. Sorry mate, your mother was stolen, it happens. Today I fucked up by making sure a coworker was wearing pants. I'd been tasked to assist a colleague with updating items on our organization's webpage. She'd already done the updates, but didn't quite grasp the upload process in our content management system, so I was glad to assist. We didn't have access to the conference room, so I brought my laptop to her desk, only to discover that it was low on power. Where I needed to sit wasn't close to the wall or an outlet, so I was going to have to run a power cable. I went to my office to retrieve one, then came back and started to crawl under the desk opposite hers to get to an electrical outlet, which is when I realized the desks didn't have panels all the way to the floor, so I popped back up, looked at my coworker and said, before I start climbing around down there, you're wearing jeans today, right? She guffawed, almost brayed. Yes. Yeah, good thing you checked, huh? I got connected and we got the job done in less than a half hour, but during that time she kept referring back to me being under her desk and alluding to things like, while you're down there. Right as we finished, she squeezed my bicep and said, I'm just teasing you, hun, right? Reader, I'm not 100% sure she is. Too long did not read. I tried to not be a pervert and ended up getting mildly perved upon. You basically said, hi, I'm actively not a creep. Which with how many men are creeps, translated for this woman as, I can be safely flirty with this person. Reminds me of an early episode of the IT Crowd. I thought it was you making that comment that was going to make things weird and somehow come back to bite you. Instead, you received the brunt of things. Assuming she doesn't try to keep doing this, you can probably wash your hands of this whole thing. Did the jokes bother you? Did you ask her to stop making those jokes? If you were fine with it then no problem, but if it made you uncomfortable then this is sexual harassment. That's really creepy, I'm sorry op sad face. She sounds like a creep, I'm sorry op. Today I fucked up by going to a party I wasn't invited to. I have two friends from middle school, I'll call them R and J. I haven't spoken to them in 2 years. Jay sent me a message asking me for a ride to R's birthday party. I was just excited to get out of the house and see old friends, so I said I would take her. When we got there, R only talked to me when I gave her the present and I spent the time just sitting around because they wouldn't include me in any conversation. Any time I tried to talk they would ignore me. When it was getting time to leave, one of the girls wanted to take a group picture and asked me to take it, so I wasn't included in it. Jay didn't say a word to me on the way home and neither of them have talked to me since. I feel so stupid. I know I shouldn't have gone because R herself didn't invite me and Jay only asked for a ride. She didn't say I could stay but I did. Too long did not read. Wasn't invited but went anyway. Got ignored, feel really stupid. TBH, it's super fucked up to ask you for a ride to a party but not include you. There's literally no reason I can fathom why that would be appropriate. If they knew you weren't invited then they should have arranged a different ride. Haven't heard from either of them for 2 years. Yet out of the blue one asks you for a ride. They're assholes, leave them in the dust. You did not foo, but those are not your friends. They used you for a ride and that is all. You need to dump them and not have contact with them again. You deserve better. I hope there is not a next time, but if there is, you excuse yourself at the party and you get on your car and drive off. Do not give them a ride again,